Hello everyone, we're back here at Das Haus with Thomas Gunn, and today we're going to be making a traditional German potato salad. So I usually get lots of compliments on this version. It's my mother's recipe for the most part. So there's basically two versions of a potato salad in Germany. One is with an oil dressing or vinaigrette, and one is with mayo. And I've seen online that lots of people haven't heard of the version with mayo, but definitely where my mother comes from, which is central Germany, about 2 hours north of Frankfurt, we always got the version with the mayo. I mean, the only time I was, when I was introduced to the version with the oil and vinegar dressing, I think it was from Germans who were more from southern Germany or Bavaria. So let me know in the comments down below if that's how it's divided regionally. I'm not sure. So anyway, so what you're going to need right off the bat in my pot here, I'm just going to turn on my water right away to boil. I've got 6 quite large potatoes. I'll pull one out. So as you can see, compared to the size of my hand, it's quite a large potato, so I have 6 of those, as well as I have 9 eggs in here. I don't know that I'll use all 9, but I wanted to have some extras so I could have an egg sandwich later, so I'll let you know how many eggs I end up using. But typically I would say probably 1 to 1.5 eggs per potato, depending upon the size of your potato. And actually, let me tell you what kind of potatoes I'm using. I'm using a russet. So these are russets. You don't want one that's too starchy. You know the kind of potatoes that kind of crumble? I mean, in a pinch it'll do, but I wouldn't try those as readily as the ones that are a bit firmer. And yeah, I need to salt my water. So let's just fairly generously salt our water. There we go. So other ingredients you're going to need are obviously mayo. The mayo, I'll let you know, because I normally do this by eye, so this is a good opportunity for me as well to write all my ingredients down. So when we get to the mayo, I'm going to measure it out, and that way we'll have a definite measurement as we go along. You're going to need salt and pepper. You will need, for this amount of potatoes, I would say probably half a large onion. So the onion I will dice very finely, and then I will let it sit in either milk or just plain water, just to pull out some of the I don't know if it's acidity, but that strong oniony taste. I like to pull that out a little bit. So I'll do that probably now, so that can sit while my potatoes start to boil. And what else do we need? We need some parsley. Fresh is preferable, but with what's going on in the world right now, I'm not going to the grocery store today, so I will be using dried. What else do we need? We need pickles. So I like using a dill pickle. The brand Kühne makes great pickles. This is not sponsored, but I really like their pickles. I like their red cabbage. I like their sauerkraut. They have great mustards. So that would be spelled Kuhne if you wanted to look up that brand. So for this amount, I'll let you know again once I get there, but I'll probably use a good 4 or 5 pickles. And then we're going to need some of the juice from the pickle. Instead of using vinegar, I like to use the pickle juice. And yeah, I think that's all the ingredients. What we could do, which my mother did, is once we've peeled the potatoes, once they're done, and this will probably cook because they're not cut into cubes, it'll probably go for probably 30 minutes. Once the water comes to a boil, you could pull the eggs out at 13 minutes of simmering. They should be nicely hard boiled by then. So once we've peeled the potatoes and once we've sliced them, we'll put them in a bowl, and in that bowl we are going to pour in some chicken stock. And that just makes, the potatoes will really soak that up, and it gives the dish and the potatoes a better consistency. It won't be as dry. But again, once we get to that stage, I'll let you know exactly how much I end up using. And to be honest, if you don't have chicken stock, that's a step you can skip over. But I like to do it because it does add a little something to the dish. Alright, so we're going to bring this up to a simmer now, and then, like I said, once it comes to simmer, after 13 minutes, I'm going to pull the eggs out, and I'm going to let the potatoes go probably another 20 minutes after that, until they are quite tender when you pierce them with a fork. And once that's all done, we'll come on back, we'll peel the potatoes, and we'll continue. Alright, so my eggs are done, and I've given them a rough chop. And my potatoes, I just finished simmering, so they were simmering for 35 minutes. So I just want to show you real quick how to peel them. You're going to want to peel them while they're still fairly warm. So here I've got my potato, and because it's warm, I'm going to be holding it with a towel a little bit. As you can see, some of the peel is already just coming right off. So what you want to do is get yourself a little paring knife, and you're just going to scrape. So it's not a motion where you're actually peeling it like this. You're taking the knife perpendicular to the potato, and you just want to scrape. This is always the part I hate the most because it takes the longest. As you can see, the potato is still steaming. So I'm not going to force you to watch me doing this with all the potatoes. If you come across a dark spot like that, just cut it off. And then once you're at this stage, take your potato, have your bowl ready, and then you're just going to slice it into the bowl. So make yourself about, what is that, 1/4 inch slices. Sorry. And just let it fall into the bowl. Once I get to this stage, I kind of just lay it in my hand like this, and I just cut straight down, and that goes pretty quick. Don't make these pieces too small, because when you're mixing them all afterwards, they continue to break up a little more, and you don't want to end up with a mush in the end. Alright, so I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to do all my potatoes, and then I'm going to come back. Alright, there we go. So I've got my got my potatoes, all 6 large potatoes, peeled and sliced. As you can see, as they fall into the bowl, as you're slicing them, they do break up. So that's why you don't want to make those slices too small. So to this now, because they're still nice and hot, do this while it's hot. We're going to add 1/2 cup of stock. I'm using chicken stock. Just give it a toss, just a light toss. Try not to break the potatoes up too much. That's good enough. So we're just going to let this sit. Just going to let that sit about, I'd say maybe 10-15 minutes, just until the liquid is soaked up. Alright, so we're back. The potatoes have been sitting for about 10 minutes. The liquid's mostly absorbed, so we can continue. So I know for sure I'm going to add all 7 eggs. So let me just get those. Now again, I'm making this to my taste, which is based upon how I grew up eating it. But once you've made this version, if you find that's too much egg, that's too much pickle, it's not enough of this, I want more of that, you know, that's where the artistry in cooking comes in, and that's where you can tailor it to your own personal taste or your family's taste. So now let's get the pickles. The pickles I will measure out for you. So this is 1/3 cup. Let's see what that looks like. I know I will need more. another third. I think that will be good. So that's 2/3 cup of finely chopped pickles, 7 roughly chopped eggs, 6 large potatoes. So let's add some salt. I'm going to start with a teaspoon, and then we will adjust as we go. I'm not even going to add the whole teaspoon. I'm going to leave this much out. So let's call that a scant teaspoon. I'll leave that there. If I decide I need more, I can always add it. I'm going to add a tablespoon of dried parsley flakes. If you're using fresh, use at least 2 tablespoons or more, depending how much you like parsley. Pepper. So pepper is a tricky thing. Some people love pepper, some people not so much. I'm putting, let's call that a very generous pinch, and a little bit more. I don't even think that was 1/8 of a teaspoon, but I'm not really a big fan of pepper, so keep that in mind. And you know, you will taste this before serving, obviously, so I'd rather you under-season at this point, because you can always add, you can't remove. All right, let's get our onions. So again, I'm going to start with 1/3 of a cup, and I think that might be okay. Let's leave that at 1/3 of a cup for now. I don't want it too oniony. And the mayo. So let's measure this out. I'm using low-fat mayo because I find, you know, there's only so many products where the low-fat version tastes almost as good as the regular version. And I find mayo is one of those. Although I've discovered it's really only the name brand mayos. I find the no name brand low-fat mayos do not taste as good. So that is about a cup. Well, it is a cup, but not right to the brim. So now just kind of spread this over the top so that you don't have to mix quite as much once you start. And to mix this, we're going to do a folding motion. So you're going to go down the side, come along the bottom, and just turn everything over. Because you're trying to minimize how much everything gets broken. Alright, I can tell already we're going to need more mayo, but at this point let's add some pickle juice. So I'm just going to take my jar of pickles, I'm just going to pour the juice off the top. That was a little more than 1/2 of a third. I know I'm making this difficult for you, but I really want to get the flavors right, so I don't want to add 1/3 just because it's easier. You can, I will write everything down below in the description box. So there's another 1/2 cup of mayo. So now we're at about 1.5 cups. So this consistency is starting to look good. I won't need any more mayo. If you see a large chunk of potato at this point, just chop it with your spoon. Just cut it in half. You want this to be easy to eat on a fork. Alright, there we go. Let me just get myself a clean fork. And we're going to give this a try. Try to get a bit of everything on your forkful. That's really good. The mayo's good. The amount of pickle juice is perfect. I think I would actually add a little more salt. So let's add the rest of that teaspoon that we didn't add before. And let's just do another half teaspoon. And I will also add just another pinch of pepper, just a light one. But keep in mind, that really is up to personal taste. See, there's a big chunk. Just gonna cut that. Just a few folds. Don't turn this into a mash. You want to see chunks of potato and chunks of egg. All right, give this another taste. Get another clean fork. Give that another taste. Perfect. So there we go. That's done. I'm going to clean up the bowl and come back and just have a quick little chat to wrap things up. And yeah, so just give me a second. You could serve it like this in a nice bowl, put a nice fresh bunch of parsley on top, and you're good to go. This is great to bring to a barbecue, to a picnic. I mean, there is mayo in here, so if you do bring it to a picnic, make sure it's in a cooler surrounded by some ice. We would typically have this with sausages, or we would have it with schnitzels, and you could have it with cold schnitzels as well. Like if you're going to a picnic, you know, you pre-fry some schnitzels and you bring those along. So you can, you know, eat cold schnitzels and potato salad. This is good with frikadellen. If you want to check out one of my other recipes, if I remember, I'll link it below as well for frikadellen. It's great with, you know, a meatloaf, Leberkäse. If you know what that is, it's a German version of a meatloaf. Literally it means liver cheese, but it has nothing really to do with liver or cheese. And that's also, by the way, if you can get Leberkäse, if you slice it thick and put it in a barbecue, it's really good that way. So yeah, or just, you know, potato salad and a fresh bun and a German wiener and maybe some sauerkraut on the side. It's, you know, a really traditional meal. I'm sure you're gonna love this I'm sure you're gonna love this potato salad. Give it a try. It's pretty easy, as you see, the whole process from beginning to end, because I can be doing all the chopping and stuff while the potatoes are boiling. So really the whole thing took maybe 45 minutes. And you could serve it like right now if you wanted to, at room temperature or just a little warm. It's really good that way. Or if it's for later, just put it in the fridge, cover it with saran wrap, plastic wrap. Put it in the fridge, you know, for later in the day, for tomorrow, whatever. If it's for tomorrow, because the mayo does tend to set, obviously, so take it out of the fridge, you know, a good 20 minutes or so before serving, and give it a light toss before you serve it so that it loosens up a bit again, all right? So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you liked the video. I hope I wasn't too long-winded. And so subscribe to my channel, like the video, and bon appetit. Actually, you know what I should be saying, because I always say bon appetit, which, you know, is French obviously, so I should be saying guten appetit. But anyway, you get the gist of what I mean. Have yourselves a great day.